This is session 3 of stage 4 of our Road to Quran Mastery series. This is going to be the last session about stage 4 of Qalqalah. After the first session, you should be able to know what Qalqalah is and how to perform it. And in the second session, we learned the different degrees of Qalqalah and how to perform them. And in this last session, it is time to talk about the most common mistakes related to Qalqalah. So let's get started. Qalqalah seems to be quite an easy topic when it comes to the Tajweed of the Quran. And while that is true, it is also true that making mistakes in it can be quite easy too. Here are the top 3 mistakes made with Qalqalah. Number 1 is applying Qalqalah to letters that are fused together. We learned how to fuse letters before in this lesson. And if you haven't watched it yet, you should really watch it before you continue with this lesson. It is very important. So if a word ends with, for example, del, and it has sukun, so normally you would apply Qalqalah to that letter. But then the first letter of the following word is also a del. You would normally fuse them together into one del if you keep on reading. And in that case, you will not apply Qalqalah, like in this example. وَقَدْ دَخَلُوا وَقَدْ دَخَلُوا. Now, if you applied Qalqalah, you will basically undo the fusion that happened between the two del, and it would sound like this. وَقَدْ دَخَلُوا. And that is not correct. You should fuse them into one del, and when this happens, Qalqalah is then disabled, even though the dal at the end of qad has sukun. So you should say وَقَدْ دَخَلُوا. Let's have a look at another example, this time with the letter ba. So here it would be wrong to say وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ, but you should say وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ. So the ba at the end of yaktub will be fused with the ba at the beginning of the word بَيْنَكُمْ to become one ba that does not have Qalqalah. Also, notice that if you stop at the first word, you will apply Qalqalah normally, since in that case, the ba is not fused with anything yet. But once you keep on reading, you will fuse it. And therefore, if you stop at this word, you would say وَلْيَكْتُبْ. But if you keep on reading, you will say وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ. So there will be no Qalqalah if there is fusion. So what is the easiest way to avoid making this mistake? Well, as I explained in session 1, that the Qutb Jad letters must look like that for them to have Qalqalah, so a sukun sign, or when you just simply stop at them. You will notice that in the examples that we've just talked about, the dal and the ba have no sukun sign on top, which indicates that these letters are fused with what follows them, and therefore you cannot apply the Qalqalah rules on these letters. Moving on to the second common mistake, which is exaggerating or extending Qalqalah needlessly. Now, some people get a bit overzealous when applying Qalqalah at the end of the word to apply major Qalqalah, or as we learned before, Qalqalah Kubra. So they would then say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Now, as you can see, this is all incorrect because I exaggerated or extended Qalqalah. While Qalqalah requires no extension, you only need to let air out without any extra steps. So this is how you're supposed to say it. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Moving on to common mistake number 3, which is applying qalqalah to non-qalqalah letters. Now, as you know that qalqalah is only limited to 5 letters only, which form the word qutb jad. However, some learners, in their attempt to show some letters a bit extra, they accidentally add qalqalah to some letters. Here are the most famous mistakes made in that respect. First is applying qalqalah to the letter kaf. Kaf is very close to qaf, and this could be the reason why some people add qalqalah to kaf. So this is the wrong version that you should try and avoid doing it. وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدِ افْتَرَى. Here you're supposed to say وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدِ افْتَرَى. Another example. وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرَى لِلْبَشَرِ. And you're supposed to say وَمَا هِيَ إِلَّا ذِكْرَى لِلْبَشَرِ. So, kaf should not have qalqalah under no circumstances. The next letter that can get qalqalah needlessly is mim, which we talked about before when we were discussing the mim sakinah. This happens most commonly at the end of words, like وَآمِنُوا بِمَا أَنزَلْتُ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَكُمْ. So here it would be wrong to have anything else other than closed lips when you end with mim sakinah. And you should say مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَكُمْ. Closed lips is what you should have when you stop at mim sakinah. One more example. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم. Again, here is not correct and it should sound like this. الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم. Next is applying qalqalah to the letter dad. And this is probably the most common mistake of all of them, even among Arabs. That is adding qalqalah to the letter dad. Most famously, applying it to the word ard, since you'll be stopping at a bunch of those when you recite the Quran. So here is the mistake that you should avoid. وَلَا تَعْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. But you're supposed to stop at the letter without adding any sort of qalqalah, and it should sound like this. وَلَا تَعْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now, if you're struggling with this, you can simply record yourself and see the sound signals that are generated when you record yourself. If you see anything appearing after stopping at the dad, then you're not there yet. The way it should look like is that when you end with the dad, no signals should show afterwards, like so. أَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. So this is what it looks like if it was correct. And if it was incorrect, it would look like this. وَلَا تَعْثَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Finally is adding qalqalah to hamza at the end of words, like in these examples. أَمْ كُنْتُمْ شُهَدَاءَ. Now, I know that some people try to show the hamza at the end of words, but applying qalqalah to the hamza is definitely one of the things you should avoid when reciting the Quran. It should sound like this. أَمْ كُنْتُمْ شُهَدَاءَ. One more example. وَاللَّهُ يَرْزُقُ مَن يَشَاءُ So, when applying qalqalah, you need to pay attention not to apply it to letters that are fused together. And you should also pay attention not to extend qalqalah needlessly or exaggerate it. And finally, you should pay attention not to apply qalqalah to letters outside the qutb jad letters, like kaf, mim, dad, or hamza. Now it's time for the recitation of this episode. Today's recitation is from Surah Al-Ahzab. ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا وسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا هو الذي يصلي عليكم وملائكته ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور وكان بالمؤمنين رحيما تحيتهم يوم يلقونه سلام وأعد لهم أجرا كريما. Now it's time for the challenge questions of this episode. Today's questions are from the 22nd juz. The first question: Praise be to God, to whom belongs everything in the heavens and in the earth, and praise be to Him in the hereafter. He is the wise, the expert. The second question: They will say, Be you glorified, you are our master, not them. In fact, they used to worship the jinn, and the most of them had faith in them. Were you able to find the corresponding verses with these translations? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something new today. If you did, please like and share the video for other people to learn from it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.